So Song Yadong versus Chris Gutierrez is the main event of UFC Fight Night Vegas 83, and it would take an absolute miracle for Chris Gutierrez to pull this one off against Song Yadong. I don't think there's a very strong chance, if a chance at all, for Chris Gutierrez to get this one done against Song Yadong. Here's the thing. Song Yadong has looked incredibly impressive against way, way better competition than whatever Chris Gutierrez has ever fought in his career so far. Chris Gutierrez has fought absolute bums. And the one time he had to step up in competition against Pedro Munoz, he lost, he got outstruck, and not really embarrassed, but he was definitely shown to be the lesser striker against Pedro Munoz. I think Song Yadong would do Pedro Munoz pretty dirty. I think he would go in there and just straight up embarrass Pedro Munoz. Would it be a close fight between Yadong and Munoz? Maybe a little bit, but I think Yadong will go in there and win every single round against Pedro Munoz. And Chris Gutierrez lost pretty convincingly to him. Here's the thing about Song Yadong. He is 26 years old. He's been in the UFC since he was like, what, 20, 22 maybe? He's been in the UFC for quite a bit now, and he's still very young, not in his prime yet. And he has fought guys like Corey Sandhagen. He pretty much embarrassed Ricky Simone. He technically on paper has a win against Chito Vera, and maybe that fight was a robbery, but guess what? That was a Song Yadong that was still young, not looking like how he looks now. If Song Yadong and Chito Vera had a rematch, I think Song Yadong will go out there and now strike him for 3-5 rounds if it came to that. Song Yadong's performance against Corey Sandhagen was an elite performance. I know that he was losing the majority of that fight. I know he was down on rounds before the stoppage for the cut, but he was looking like an actual elite fighter, like he belongs at the top of bantamweight. And I think Chris Gutierrez has not had that test, had that fight against a guy who is a top tier elite bantamweight. He's beaten guys like Frankie Edgar, an old, washed up, pretty much done, his chin is gone, Frankie Edgar. And yeah, he killed him with a nice knee down the middle and put him out cold. Cool, but it's an old Frankie Edgar. Yeah, he beat Alaa Tang Haley. I don't care. That guy is pretty much unranked in my eyes. I mean, let's be totally honest about this. Who has Chris Gutierrez fought that has been at least shown signs of being an elite bantamweight? Daniel Batcarel, he's pretty mid as a bantamweight, man. He isn't really anything special, if I'm being honest with you. Andre Ewell, Felipe Colares, he hasn't fought anybody that has been that good at bantamweight. Yeah, he's beaten these guys, but I mean, he went to a draw with Cody Durden, which Cody Durden is a good now, but now he's a flyweight pretty much, isn't he? And yeah, maybe Gutierrez has improved since then. I'll hold him to the same standard that I'll hold Corey Sandhagen. Maybe they both have improved over time, but I think Song Yadong definitely has improved more than Chris Gutierrez. Gutierrez has some really, and I mean really risky fights in his career so far in the UFC. And I mean, so has Song Yadong, but Song Yadong, I mean, he lost to Kyler Phillips, which that guy was basically doing spinning wheel kicks into a double leg. I mean, he's so unique in that way. He actually popped for roids as well, if you didn't know that. But I don't see Chris Gutierrez doing spinning wheel kicks into a double leg. Will he throw a spinning wheel kick? Most likely, yes. And he has great calf kicks as well, but I don't see him transitioning that into a double leg the same way Kyler Phillips did against Song Yadong. I think for somebody to really beat Song Yadong at bantamweight, they have to be a really elite striker and be able to outpoint Song Yadong over 5 or 3 rounds, or be a guy who is so unique, so wild, and just different in the octagon where he can just do double legs and then transition into a flying knee to a spinning hook kick. There's just so many things. You have to overload his brain to beat him, and I don't see Chris Gutierrez overloading his brain. Can he chop that leg of Song Yadong? For sure, but can Chris Gutierrez avoid the power shots and avoid getting outstruck by Song Yadong? And I don't think he can, because guess what Song Yadong can also do? Shoot takedowns. Now, he was shooting some on Corey Sandhagen. He wasn't getting them, but he at least has shown that he is willing to try to grapple with some of these elite guys. And I think he'll try to grapple Chris Gutierrez, who, I mean, granted, has some good takedown defense himself, but I think can be a bit overwhelmed and overloaded, just like Song Yadong. And if Song Yadong's the one doing the overwhelming, then I think Chris Gutierrez will succumb to Song Yadong's pressure and his style and the way he fights and his power shots. He throws massive. Song Yadong throws, I mean, elite haymakers. And it just worries me that I don't think Chris Gutierrez has it in him. I don't think he has the skill. I don't think he has what it takes to beat a guy like Song Yadong. Song Yadong is just entirely different. He's different gravy at bantamweight. You're not fighting an Ally Tang. You're not fighting Dana Baccarella. You're not fighting Pedro Munoz. You're fighting a guy who's willing to grit down and just throw hooks with you, trade in the pocket, throw crisp body shots, have really good in and out movement, and just overall high level technical striking. The closest thing that Chris Gutierrez has ever fought that at least simulates Song Yadong is Pedro Munoz. And like I said before, he lost to him pretty convincingly. Yeah, Song Yadong won't throw as many leg kicks, nor will he be able to deal with them like how a Pedro Munoz does. But I think he just brings that really gritty, nasty, all about it style that I think will break Chris Gutierrez. Song Yadong is more patient. He is more technical. He has way better power shots, way better hooks in the pocket, way better body shots, 1-2s down the pipe. He has great takedown defense. So Chris Gutierrez probably will not be able to get this to the ground. If he tries to, it will be an ultimate mistake because I know damn well Song Yadong is going to stuff those takedowns. He has, in my opinion, Song Yadong has the best takedown defense at bantamweight. If Aljo was still champion, I would take Song Yadong to beat him. I just simply don't see it. I just see it's a very little chance. I think a 20% chance that maybe Chris Gutierrez gets this one done, but I really don't see it. And I hate predicting these sort of, I'm really confident in this pick sort of videos, but I just feel it in my bones. I've been really high on Song Yadong for a very long time now. Ever since he fought Corey Sandhagen, I've been on the Song Yadong hype train. And I think a guy like Chris Gutierrez is kind of light work for Song Yadong, man. He's young, he's improving, he throws everything with absolute viciousness. He is the real deal at bantamweight, and I think he is a true top 5 contender. And maybe not even maybe anymore. I will bet that Song Yadong will fight for a belt one day at bantamweight. When would it happen? I don't know, but somewhere down the line, maybe in his 30s, maybe in his late 20s, he will fight somebody for that bantamweight belt. I am betting on Chris Gutierrez to extend that win total for Song Yadong to 9. And Yadong probably won't KO him out cold, or maybe he might hurt him at one point, but I mainly see this fight going to a decision where Song Yadong pretty much cruises all 5 rounds. Song Yadong showed great, and I mean insane cardio against Ricky Simón into eventually finishing him in that 5th round. And I see the same thing happening to Chris Gutierrez besides the left hook putting him out cold like how Song Yadong did. Just overall, the power's different, the skill level's there. He is young and improving. I just think Song Yadong has this one in the bag. 5-round decision is my official pick. Lock it in, baby. I can't wait for Saturday night, and hopefully after this, we get Song Yadong some real juicy contender to get him to a title elimination bout somewhere down the line. That's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for notifications. I'm out of here. Song Yadong by decision. Peace.